Hi, folks. Non-MAGA Mike here. Just a few more things I want to get off my chest. Um, I'll try to keep my thoughts together, but honestly, there's just so much, again, with this fire hose of mis and disinformation. And look at the shiny thing over here while I end up doing something over here. You have to just listen to the words coming out of his mouth. He will tell you what he's doing. He'll tell you what his plan is. Guys, there's so much that apparently you don't even know, MAGA verse. Not sure how that is the case, really, because there's so many avenues of communication. All right, so we're going to start with the New Orleans attack on New Year's Day that morning. They tried to blame it on immigration and border crossings and undocumented criminals. And come to find out, I mean, they started that narrative before the facts came out. When the facts came out, he was born and raised here in Texas. He's got no affiliation with Mexico, and he was in the service. He was radicalized by ISIS. Had nothing to do with the border crossing, but every time Trump or one of his cronies were on TV, any station, and they were asked, they were even asked, why would you lie like that? You shouldn't be saying that. And they would say it. Yes, you're right. It was terrible. We found out he was American and blah blah blah. But you can't deny that all those border crossings. And what the fuck are we doing? That used to be a big DQ. Disqualifying. You got people lying like that so obviously. That's a DQ. Goodbye. Oh my word. He wants to put strings attached conditions to government relief for disasters. That's bananas. That's absolutely bananas. He already said that he'd like to see California institute voter IDs, and that's so they could, it would aid them in their voter suppression issues, and how bright blue, deep blue California is. So yeah, that's kind of what he wanted to do. That's why. And the other thing he said was turn on the tap, in LA and let the water run through the city. Like, that's fucking. Now, it's insulting. I find it insulting to listen to him talk because it's so far from the truth. But in this ramblings of lies and whatnot, facts and shit that he pulls out of his ass, amidst all that, he will tell you what he's fucking doing. He will, if you listen carefully enough, he won't focus on it, but he'll mention it. He'll tell you what he's doing, folks. So he already, sort of announced those conditions, or at least suggested them anyway in public. Which before, if the president said something on TV, you just believe them. At least that's how I grew up. And of course, they all lied, about stuff, but not like this. Not like this. Not like this. Not even close. No. This is a whole new thing, guys. And if you can't see that, you weren't paying attention before Trump came on the scene, and you're probably not paying attention now. You're just following him blindly. He wants to eliminate FEMA. Oh, about the strings attached. So he announced those two conditions he'd like to see with California. North Carolina, though. The reporter asked him, are you going to do the same thing with North Carolina? He said, no, we're going to react quickly and get down there and get everything they need. Here's an example of how his lies are dangerous. He got out there, and his propaganda machines, those two platforms, those two big ones, anyway, kept saying that North Carolina wasn't getting any aid. They weren't getting any aid. Government's not acting quick enough. Government's not acting quick enough. I almost do away. Anyway, government's not acting quick enough. You know, out in North Carolina, those poor people. You know what? All three governors involved in Hurricane Helene came right out in the press, you know, for the whole world to see that they all came out in the press and said that they got all the relief they needed. They were in personal contact with President Biden, and they mentioned President Biden's support more so than the government support. And these are red governors, folks. These are Republican governors that said this. The lies, guys. Again, you hear something like that from Republican governors, that's something that should make you want to Google it. Google the subject matter and see. Because once you start seeing some of these lies and how absolutely off the rails they are, you'll understand why I feel insulted every time I hear that man talk. It's All right, I'm going to try not to curse, and I'm going to try not to get too excited. But, folks, this stuff deserves all of us to get very excited. Because we're in it deep. I love saying this. Flag upside down, deep in trouble, folks. All right, so he wants to eliminate FEMA. So all, if any, relief goes through Trump. And that's a theme you'll start seeing now more and more. He wants everything to go through him. He's already canceled all the funding for medical and scientific research. So no grants. And nobody from those agencies are allowed to make a public statement about anything until it's approved by Trump, the statement. Again, through Trump. So this is going to affect everybody. Universities, medical schools, the big hospitals, especially the big, teaching hospitals like Mass General. Jesus Christ, guys, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done? It's amazing. I mean, honestly, this entire thing so far, since, including Inauguration Day and his that speech, oh my God, the entire thing could and should be SNL skits. You could do the exact same fucking things with the actors, and we would laugh our fucking tits off. But this is the President of the United States. What have you done? So co-President Musk out there doing the Nazi salute, the Sieg Heil, God bless his heart. The Sieg Heil. You know what? If you look into Musk, and you should, he has affiliations with what is currently the Nazi party over in Germany. He's donated millions of dollars to that party. He came from South Africa where there was apartheid. He grew up in apartheid. You guys aren't fucking catching a theme here? They're rounding up brown people. Nothing? Nothing clicks. So the two Sieg Heil things, that was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, he's connected to those Nazi groups. Local ones, too. He's connected to local ones, too. He's got affiliations in the local, I guess, neo-Nazi groups. So, please, Google the subject matter. And stay away from right-wing propaganda. That's all it is. I mean, I see it on the television all day long. Not all day long, but I see it on the television, and Jesus fucking Christ. Nothing but lies. It should be illegal. It should be illegal. A CNN anchor recently nailed down a Trump crony that was out there trying to defend the fact that Trump was blaming that New Orleans attack on border crossings. And the newscaster was saying, he really held his feet to the fire. Every time he tried to pivot, in fact, he said, so you can admit that that attack on New Orleans on New Year's Day had nothing to do with border crossings. Yes, that's probably true, but you can't deny that 20,000 blah, 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 blah. He just pivoted right out of it. The newscaster was talking to him about why he was lying and shouldn't he stop? Shouldn't he stop? I mean, we all know about the lies he was telling about that ping pong pizza joint in Washington. Pizzagate? Fucking trafficking children down in the basement. Please, man. That dude took an AK-47 and drove to that pizza joint to save those kids. He walked in the middle of dinner service while folks were eating and looking for a basement with his AK-47. Guys, you don't see this? How do you not see this? Is it possible that Fox never mentioned that Pizzagate incident? Is that possible? There's no fucking way that can be possible. They're supposed to be a news channel. They've recently uncovered measures of voter suppression that they took. They actually have numbers, they have addresses and phone numbers, and the folks that were looking into this made phone calls to double check before they put a report out. Not to everybody, but to most of them, to a lot of them. So, 4,707,000 voters were purged or deleted from the voter rolls. 43% of mail-in ballots were rejected. So 1 in 8 mail-in ballots got thrown out. They looked into those voters. It's not rocket science. You can track anything back now. They got a hold of those voters and, asked them why their thing was rejected. They didn't even know it was rejected. And you have a 900% chance, higher risk, of having your vote rejected, whether it's in the precinct or through the mail, if you are not a white person. 900% higher chance. What have you done, folks? All right, so that's something that's just entertaining, really, because they're so anti-LGBTQ plus community, and they're so anti-trans. Speaking of anti-trans, did you know that Elon Musk, one of his 11 children, is transitioning right now? She's a tranny. His kid's a tranny. And I don't care about that shit. It's never been in my life. Why would I fucking care about it? So anyway, he's got that going on. He's out there supporting this fucking asshole that wants to tear down that community. What have you done? Let's see if I got that stat out there. So a lot of folks got provisional ballots, apparently, and you were 300% higher chance of receiving a provisional ballot, which then got rejected out of hand. It's basically, especially in the South, and this has been uncovered. I mean, you can find this information out. You can YouTube it, you can Google it, the subject matter. YouTube, the subject matter. You'll find some videos. You know what? That's a great idea. Instead of Googling the subject matter, because you have to read. Right? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that grief. So, go to YouTube and in the search bar, put the subject matter and see what comes up. Now, if you're bright red, your computer or your device, whatever, is going to lean that way when you start to look for the information. But you got to look elsewhere, all right? So don't be tempted to listen to the 2-minute clip about Hannity denying something real quick. Don't go to CNN or MSNBC. I don't care where you go. Go to one of the independent platformers. Go, I can't believe this is happening, guys. What have you done? So basically, the determination is there's currently a Jim Crow apartheid voter system in the South, is what they're calling it. And there's a bunch of numbers, and you should go on and YouTube it and see. There's a bunch of numbers, stats that are just fucking staggering. Kamala would have won the Electoral College because she would have won the popular vote by more than 3 million, I think it was, 300 million. All right. So what's done is done. Democrats don't whine about it, don't cry about it. What's done is done. We'll try to fix the system better for the next time around. Now that we know what happened, that's the reason for the investigation. It wasn't so we could try to overthrow the government or take fucking Trump, the government or Trump, to court to try to overturn the election or to foment an insurrection on the day that the Electoral College is being certified. What have you done, guys? All of these things that I've mentioned so far, each and every one of them, in and of themselves, stand alone by themselves, are absolutely DQ. That they disqualify you to represent this country in any fucking capacity. This man cheats on his fucking taxes. Actually pays less taxes than his fucking personal assistant. 2 years in a row, he paid $750 in taxes. And he's proud of cheating the system. Do you guys know about that? That's an old one. That's 2016. You must know about that. And if you don't take my word for it. YouTube it. Just a funny piece. Just a funny little piece of entertainment. It doesn't bug me one way or the other. But they want to decimate, really, the LGBTQ plus community, which is insane. People are going to be what they are. What the fuck, dude? And announces in his inaugural address that I hereby, I hereby claim that there will only be 2 sexes. I mean, seriously, guys. All of that having been said, I don't know if you guys know that the RNC in Milwaukee this past year, Grindr, which is a homosexual hookup app for homosexuals, crashed twice that week. Their servers were overloaded and the app crashed twice. This is the group that's trying to tear down the LGBTQ plus community. This is the group. What have you done? Trumpster Fire, indeed. when Trump was doing one of his post-victory rallies, his victory tour, you can find this on YouTube, a clip of it, with him saying, I want to thank, what's his name? Fucking Elon Musk. I want to thank Elon Musk for what he did with the voting machines in Pennsylvania. Find it. He said those words, guys. Again, if you listen to him long enough and listen between the bullshit, you'll find out what he's gonna do to us. So, yeah, they used what they called the KKK plan from 1946 to implement voter suppression in Georgia, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. I mean, 10,000 Mules, this fucking film you guys like to brag about? Absolute insanity, first of all. You guys are out of your fucking mind. Everybody's not trying to get everybody else. That's not how life works. 10,000 Mules, that goddamn movie was finally taken down. The distributor had to publicly apologize for it because of all the falsehoods that were uncovered in the fucking video. And at one point, one scene, they actually had two white guys dressed in blackface stuffing ballots into boxes, like several ballots into boxes on camera. I mean, this party is so fucking racist. It's unfucking fathomable. I can't understand it. What do you think you're gonna... All right. So, in his inaugural speech, and then afterwards by executive order that he signed, he's attacking the 14th Amendment, which indicates that folks that were born in America are Americans. He's canceling that by executive order. So if your parents are here legally, you're going back with them, even if you served in our army. And don't tell Trump that you got injured in the war, because he thinks those folks are losers. He doesn't want to be around them because they make him look bad. Those have been public statements, guys. That words that came out of his fucking mouth. Look it up, guys. Look it up. Please, because I can't believe you don't have this information. So many ways to get information now. So the federal judge blocked that executive order, which means the White House has 14 days to respond. And we see where it goes from there. It's going to be in a court somewhere. But for those that don't know, there's federal judges in every state. And Trump appointed 92 of them his last term. The Seattle judge, federal judge that blocked that, is a Republican-leaning Ronald Reagan nominee. He's been there 40 years. Oh my word. Lying about the response to Helene is dangerous, man. That's dangerous to do. I mean, it's not just winning political points because your dummies believe you every word they say at face value, for Christ's sake. No, it's not that. It's dangerous. Here's an example. The folks in Western North Carolina that were decimated by the hurricane. The three state governors involved in that hurricane all came out on different public platforms, and several of them saying, the president, not the government even, the president has been responding to us fantastically. We've been getting all the resources we need, and he told me to call him directly if he needs anything else. He'll get it. These are 3 Republican governors. Do you guys know that? That these 3 Republican governors came on and said that. So, because you guys believed his lies so much, and that propaganda that Newsmax and what's that other dumpy station? Fox News. Those retards. Sorry. No, I'm not really sorry. So, because of the propaganda, we had folks in North Carolina, Western North Carolina, refusing assistance from the government, saying that it's not enough and they're giving money to migrants. So these are operatives, folks, who just reel in the dummies, the low-hanging fruit for MAGA. And you guys follow it like it's true almost. It's crazy. It's absolute bananas. He came out and said during COVID, at the peak of COVID, he came out and said, we should stop testing so much. If we stop testing so much, we won't have so many cases. He said that. He said those words in that order on live television. In and of itself, DQ again, like everything else. You can't come out and say something like that. I mean, does that sound like it's in the best interest of all Americans? Stop testing so much? All right. Well, meanwhile, at that same time, Putin's getting several testing apparatus. Several. Sent over from Trump to Putin personally. No reporting on what he did with them exactly, but he had them. And, they're $22 million a piece or something. And he sent several of them over there. I think it was 11, I think was the number, but don't quote me on that. All right, so don't test so much, yeah. Putin, his buddy, help him out. You guys haven't figured out yet that him and Kim and Putin are going to start a world war against China, Taiwan, the rest of the big countries. All of the NATO countries, for sure. And after they've taken them over, the game plan is after they've taken them over, I'll split them up to whatever makes sense. Like Greenland goes to us, for example. Canada goes to us, for example. You guys don't see this coming. Listen to the words coming out of his mouth. All right, so Trump halted. This is insane. One of his executive orders, he halted funding, all funding for scientific and medical research. Cancer research. I mean, Jesus Christ. He wants everything to go through Trump. FEMA, he wants to cancel FEMA again. That goes through Trump. Any kind of relief. Stop all funding for medical research. No one can release a statement from all those agencies involved without the statement being approved by the president. Again, everything through Trump. Do you guys even know about that fact that I just said? Because if you don't, shame on you. Shame on you. So yeah, no grants given. NIH, all funding. Impacting universities. This is just Trump's retribution to the scientists for COVID. We've got scientists coming out in interviews saying those words in that order. This is Trump's retribution to the scientists for COVID. So now he's waging a war against science. Against science! You guys don't see this shit? Wants to control all public communication, everything through Trump. This is going to lead to the decimation, really, of the medical and scientific communities. This man's dangerous. This man's absolutely dangerous, guys. How do you not see it? So, I know you guys aren't big fans of reading, so you probably don't know about appeasement. So if somebody says, appeasement back in World War II, related to World War II, or the policy of appeasement, you should know. You should know what that means, by the way. Because that's one of the many things I remember from high school. Appeasement. So, Neville Chamberlain, the Prime Minister at the time of England, negotiated for a piece of the Czech Republic, the German-speaking section of Czech Republic, to be surrendered to Germany, as long as there will not be any wars. This was done in Munich, this agreement, so it was the Agreement of Munich. 2 years later, he broke that agreement and took the rest of Czech Republic by force. 6 months later, took Poland by force. Appeasement only made him stronger. Appeasement only made him stronger. It just, yeah, it was considered appeasement. Now it's considered the policy of weakness, a policy of weakness. And it strengthened Hitler's resolve. It gave him confidence. And having those two countries now, and their armies, their services, he thought he was going to take over the world. Yeah, you guys must know about this stuff, right? Appeasement and World War II. You know how that came about. You know who Adolf Hitler was? Not just a bad guy, but a carbon copy of this man in the White House. This man is the devil. He's the fucking devil, guys. I hope you're paying attention. Watch. Watch with your own two eyes. I'm sorry, but I'm so worked up. And it's mainly because this information is so readily available, and it's not subjective. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. It's the truth. The truth is not subjective, folks. He's got you guys believing that truth is subjective now. I mean, word. So, he is putting his people in place. North Korea, by the way, and I know I mentioned this in one of my earlier ones, but North Korea is training soldiers in Russia as we speak. So yay for that. Meanwhile, America's Hitler's putting his people in place. He's got Cash App. He's going to be the director of FBI. Cash App's the guy that got him all those fucking classified documents that he was going to sell to China. Have you no idea? Did you not see boxes and boxes like a warehouse in his bathroom of fucking documents? There was a reason why the FBI showed up there. Because it was blatant. It was obviously a steal. And he had Cash App involved in it. Now this donkey is going to be in charge of fucking the FBI? Bondi, Pamela Bondi, AG, are you shitting me? She's the one that got Trump's, oh my God. She's the one that got Trump's lawsuits thrown out for his fraud about Trump University. Never really existed. So people were suing left and right. She got those cases thrown out. She got a class action suit thrown out for him. And always speaks, volumes. Can't say enough good things about Trump. It's all lies, guys. They're outrageous lies, too. All right. Secretary of Defense. That's clutch. That's clutch. That's a great idea. Put this predator drunk that served in the National Guard in charge of fucking secretary, in charge of the Pentagon. So now Trump's got control of the armed services. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. Kristi Noem. Dude. Tulsi Gabbard. This should be a good one. She's literally an agent of Russia, either wittingly or unwittingly. And there's so much information out there about it. You guys should look it up. You'd be amazed at the lies that are being told to you. You'd know why I feel insulted. My own president's insulting me personally on television several times a day. Oh, my word. Tulsi Gabbard, director of all intelligence. So now he's got all of the intelligence. He's got the FBI. He's got going to be a secret police. He's got the Pentagon. These things will be in his control now because they are just yes men. They are just whatever Trump wants at that moment. That's what they are. How could you guys not see this coming? A mile away! How? What a shit show this is. What an embarrassment to the rest of the world. Canada's already firing back in public about, we're ready for Trump, we'll fight Trump. He's going to take Greenland. He's going to name the Gulf of America? Who gives a shit? Everybody in the fucking world's got a map. And they all say the Gulf of Mexico, you dummy. You can't hereby declare. All right. Sorry. But ending on a good note, or a light-hearted note, trying to. It was pointed out on a YouTube video, a couple of them actually, that his shoes are at least an external 3-inch lifts. Who knows what he's got inside the shoe, but they circle his shoe and you should see it. It looks like a ginormous orthopedic shoe. Nobody knew. And this was good to see. Gavin Newsom getting out there defending his state. He met Trumpster Fire on the tarmac. So when he came off the fucking plane, as soon as he got down the stairs, Newsom was approaching him and giving him the hard handshake and telling him, don't fucking lie. If you're going to say anything, you're going to say it to my face. We'll talk it out in public if you want. But be careful what you say when you get over to the cameras. He shut him down. He was not going to say anything negative about California, and Newsom never left the fucking press conference that followed that impromptu press conference that followed that offboarding of the plane and discussion with Gavin Newsom. Another little funny thing, though, about that is Gavin Newsom, when he greeted Melania right after he said his words to Trump, and Trump walked away, he greeted Melania. Melania gave him a kiss. So that's on video as well for the whole world to see. That she gave him a kiss, and she's wearing just a black hat that does not say anything about Trump or MAGA. And her and Gavin Newsom were walking behind Trump, chatting on the way over to the reporters. Trump is a fucking dumpster fire, guys. What have you done? We are in so much trouble. He is going to start a war, and certainly the MAGA verse that follows his every word is going to rally around him as a wartime president. And that's generally what happens anyway. That's how Roosevelt got elected 4 times. He got us out of the Great Depression, and he won World War II for us. So the folks in this country rallied around Roosevelt as a wartime president. And that's what's going to happen with Trump. So the 4 years, you can discount. He's already looking at trying to pass a bill that says something like